Today we are going to learn the second poem prescribed for 10th grade students. It is found in the textbook The First Flight. Now why did I say it is the second poem? Because the first one is Dust of Snow. Both of these poems are written by the same poet, that is Robert Frost. In this video, I will not be going into the details of the life of the poet since I have already done it in my previous video on Dust of Snow. If you have not yet watched, if you have not yet checked out my previous video on Dust of Snow, I recommend you to go and check out that first so that you may have some idea about the life of the poet and so a better understanding of this present poem. Now back to our present poem, that is Fire and Ice. Fire and Ice is a very simple poem that deals with an age-old question discussed throughout the ages, ever since the civilization came into existence, and that is how the world is going to come to an end. Now, before we study the poem, before I explain the meaning of this poem, let me tell you from where the poet might have got an inspiration to write such a poem. Critics are of two views. There are two opinions as to from where the poet got an inspiration to write such a poem. The first one is the poet might have taken inspiration from Dante's Inferno. It happens to be an epic poem, or to be precise, a part of an epic poem written by Dante, and this poet, that is our poet Robert Frost, might have taken inspiration from him. And those critics who are of this view, they associate the 9 lines of this poem. You know, this present poem, Fire and Ice, it contains 9 lines. They associate the 9 lines of this poem to the 9 circles of hell mentioned in Dante's Inferno. So this is one view. And some other critics, they hold the view that once it happened that the poet was interacting with an astronomer, and the topic of discussion was how the world is going to come to an end. And it was the astronomer who put forward 2 ideas. He said that either the world would be burnt, or either the temperature of the sun would rise to such a level, either the heat would rise to, the intensity of heat would rise to such a level that everything in this world would be burnt into ashes. And the other possibility could be that the world would be frozen. So this was the interaction that was that took place between the poet and the astronomer. Well, from where the poet got an inspiration to write this poem doesn't matter to us. Let's understand this poem line by line first, and then we will analyze it. See, some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. This is the first 4 lines. So some say the world will end in fire. Some say means some people say. In the opinion of some people, the world will end in fire. So some people hold the view that the world will be destroyed by fire. Some say in ice. However, some other people, they favor the view that the world will end in ice. The world will be frozen. Now what does the poet say? From what I have tasted of desire, that means from what I know of desire. What is desire here? Desire is a negative word. Here, there are 2 things, fire and ice. Both of these are in contrast to each other. Fire and ice cannot go together. So on one hand, fire can cause the destruction, and on the other hand, ice can cause destruction. And in this poem, fire stands for desire, lust, extreme passion for something. That is a negative one. So from what I have tasted of desire, that means from what I know of the effects of desire, or the functions of desire, or what desire can do to humanity, I hold with those who favor fire. That means I am of the opinion that yes, the world will be destroyed in fire. So this is the meaning of the first 4 lines. So although some people say that fire and some others say that the world can end in ice, but from what I know of the effects of desire, as I said, fire stands for desire, passion, which is a negative one. I know that the world will be destroyed in fire. But in the second lines, in the next lines, the next part of the poem, he says, but if it had to perish twice, it means The world, if the world had to perish means destroy. If the world had to destroy twice, I think I know enough of hate. I think I know enough of hate means I know that even hate, to say that for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice. The poet says that for the destruction of this world, I know that even hate can play a vital role. Although it is true that the world can be destroyed in fire, which signifies here passion, lust and desire, but I know that for the destruction of the world, it is not necessary that fire should be used. Even hatred, even cold, even ice, what does ice represent? Cold. And what is cold is something symbolic of dullness, indifference, okay, lack of passion. So anything can cause the destruction of the world. It's not necessary that fire itself is necessary. So what is the central idea of this poem? The central idea around which the poem revolves is that mutual understanding, equality and love alone can keep the world go at its normal pace, because both the extremes, fire and ice, can cause the destruction of this world. Now, having discussed this, what do we learn from this poem? We learn that love and harmony with our fellow human beings is necessary to live a normal life on the face of this earth. Otherwise, slowly but surely, the destruction is sure to take place. Now, let's look at some of the poetic devices used in this poem. Let's discuss them as well. First of all, let's look at the rhyme scheme of the poem. I discussed the rhyme scheme even in my previous video, that is Dust of Snow. I would again remind you to check out my previous video so that you will have a better understanding of rhyme scheme. Let's analyze the rhyme scheme of this poem. Fire ends in a particular way, ire. The next one is ice. It has got a different ending, ice. Desire, does it have any similarity? Yes, it ends like ire. So fire and desire, and again the next line fire can be taken as A. Then ice. Is there any other line that has got a similar ending? Yes, ice, twice and ice. See, all these lines can be taken as B. Ice, the line that ends with twice, and again the line that ends with ice, and the last line that ends with suffice. So it can be taken as B. Then look at the line that ends in hate and the line that ends in great. It can be taken as C. So putting all these things together, we understand that the rhyme scheme of this poem is A, B, A, A, B, C, B, C, B. This is the rhyme scheme of this poem. Having understood this, let's understand and let's discuss the other figures of speech as well. We have also alliteration in this poem. See some examples of alliteration. I will give you only one example and I would recommend you to find out the rest for yourself. Some say the world will end in fire. Now what is alliteration? Alliteration is when the same consonant sound is repeated in a particular line of the poem. So see, some say, SS sound. The world will end in fire. World will. WW sound has been repeated. So here is an example of alliteration. So I would recommend you to find out the other example for yourself. Then this poem also has got what we call paradox. Paradox is what we call a seeming contradiction. So here, what is a paradox that seems to be untrue? See, but if it had to perish twice, how can the world perish twice? So it appears to be a paradoxical expression. So the poet gives two possibilities. Even if it had to perish twice, I think ice would suffice. So here is a paradoxical expression. So this poem also contains some amount of paradox. Then we have symbolism, which I have already explained. Fire is a symbol of desire, lust and passion, and ice is a symbol for hate. And about rhyme scheme I have already discussed. These are some of the main figures of speech or poetic devices used in this poem. I'm sure you must have got a thorough idea of fire and ice. Please feel free to let me know in the comment section if you have any further questions. Thanks for watching.